Hey everyone, it's Lil D from LilDevet.com and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my top 10 tips for preparing your Hobonichi Weeks for 2017. If you're not familiar with the Hobonichi Weeks planner, it's a Japanese planner, so I'll give you some quick specs. It comes with a linen cover, hardcover, which comes in many different colors. I chose this gorgeous red. The paper is Tomoe River paper, which is very fountain pen friendly, and therefore it will not bleed. It has 3 yearly overviews, so 2016, 2017, 2018. It has a 12-month overview on 2 pages, which I'll show you in just a second. It has 16 monthly overviews starting December of 2016 throughout the entire year of 2017 and the first 3 months of 2018. It has weekly overviews for 13 months. So like I said before, you can start using this in December because you have weeklies for the entire month of December and all of 2017. In the back, you have 72 note pages, which are all numbered and come with an index. There's some reference pages in the back, which are all written in Japanese, and I'm going to share a tip on what you can do with those. And finally, with this planner, they give you a clear stick-on pocket, which you can stick in on the inside covers. So with that, let's jump into my tips. Tip number 1 has to do with the yearly overviews. And as you can see here, we have 2016, 17, and 18. It has very faint writing, but what I found most problematic is that the months were hard to see because they only included numbers, and the days of the week are in Japanese. So my first tip is to take a really dark black marker or pen, write in the months and also the days of the week. And that will make it easier to see all your months across these 2 pages. Tip number 2 has to do with the 12-monthly overview across 2 pages. It goes from January through December and then all the days in the month. And my tip is to use this as a yearly tracker. What I've done here is I've included a legend of abbreviations and what they mean, and then I've popped them into whatever dates they apply to. Whether you use color coding, stickers, probably only really tiny stickers, or abbreviations, you can use this to track anything that's important throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, you'll have a great yearly overview of what happened. I'm personally planning to track doctor's appointments, my kids' school days off, my husband's work schedules, and things like such. My third tip has to do with the monthly overviews. Now, this also has very light writing, but what I found most problematic is that the month is written really small on the top left. So my tip number 3 is to write down the month so that it's more prominent. So what I did was I just wrote it bigger, and I also did this for the entire year of 2017. And here I included the year because, like I said, it has 3 months into the following year, and I didn't want to confuse if I accidentally flipped to this January page as opposed to the other one. While we're looking at this monthly overview, I would highly suggest, if you're like me and are used to a Sunday to Saturday calendar, this is a Monday to Sunday start calendar to create a separator line so that you can remember that the weekends are off to the side as opposed to the ends. Tip number 4, to make it easier to flip to a month, is to pick up a pack of Post-it tabs. These come pre-printed with the month names already. Now the months were completely spelled out, so all I did was that I cut it after the 3rd letter so that they were a lot smaller, and then I stuck them onto the appropriate pages. And this just makes it easier to flip directly to the month as opposed to trying to find it this way. I know they have a, doesn't make it, it's kind of hard to find it the other way, but with the monthly tabs, it makes it definitely a lot easier. My 5th tip has to do with the weekly overviews. This is what they look like. and it goes from Monday to Sunday, and this side is blank. And what I was having trouble with was remembering where the weekend begins. So tip number 5 is to add a separator line so you know where Saturday and Sunday are. You can do it with thin washi, or here I just decided to write it in script and then box it in. Either way, it'll draw your eye and you can easily see where the weekend is. Tip number 6, flipping over to our note pages in the back. As I mentioned, in the back there's a whole bunch of pages that have reference information in Japanese. I personally don't read Japanese, so those were useless to me. But I got this tip from a great YouTuber, I'll make sure to include her link down below, where she took Target dollar spot note pages and just glued them on to cover those reference information. So what I did was I trimmed it, I took a glue stick and then just stuck it on. And I got 14 additional note pages in the back of this planner. So with the 72 blank ones, which are also Tomoe River paper in graph, and the 14 that I was able to gain in the back from just covering these pages, I now have 86 total pages. This page I chose not to cover because it collects contacts information, and this is something I can use. This page would be your contact information, but down here there was a lot of Japanese, so I covered that as well. And then by the index, like I mentioned, there's an index in the back section. There was a page here with a lot of Japanese, so I covered that as well. And that was tip number 6. Now, these pages can be used for lots of things, but I'm going to share with you one of my favorite, most productive tips, and that is to create what I like to call a monthly index log. Now, what that is you dedicate one entire page, one per month for all 12 months, and what you do is you itemize for the month anything important that happens throughout the year. So instead of having to remember and dig and say, oh my God, where was that note? Anything that's important, you write down the date and a quick note. That way you can just scan these very, very quickly. And I do this with all of my planners. That way, all I have to do is scan a maximum of 12 pages for the year, as opposed to trying to flip through dozens and dozens of pages to find the information I'm looking for. That's tip number 7. Tip number 8 has to do with the index. As you saw here, this index is extremely short. For 72 pages and 14 additional pages that I just helped you gain, this is the only space you have for an index. So I would suggest you leave the back of this page blank, use that as an index. And because I covered this, I'm thinking I'm going to use this also as an index overflow in case I need it. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9 would be to make sure to use functional clips. When I'm on my weeks are horizontal, and I want to remember quickly when I flip to the page what day of the week it is. So what I do is I like to use these book darts, which are very, very thin, and I just keep sliding them down throughout the week. So that way when I flip quickly, I know exactly which box I need to focus on. I also like these Midori cat clips, which you saw before, because his little tail sticks out. And then my other favorite is this other cat Midori clip, because his little ears stick out. Now, I'm not saying you should use these specifically. I'm just saying that in this planner, you might need a little bit of help from clips in order to flip around and find things quickly. Finally, tip number 10 has to do with the inside of the covers. So I chose to use my inside front cover for motivational stickers to keep me motivated throughout the year. And then in the back, I did use that stick-on pocket, which I stuck here on the bottom corner. And I'm using this pocket to hold blank pieces of paper, stickers. Because it's plastic, it's great to stick on Post-its. So I just stuck a few. So I have 2 page flags. I put like 4, and then this one that's a little bit larger. And then on this side, even though the adhesive isn't doing very well, I stuck on larger pieces because When you're planning, sometimes you just need an extra piece of paper, and I didn't want to waste my Tomo River note pages for that. So there you go, my top 10 tips for preparing your Hobonichi Weeks for 2017. I hope you found this helpful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.